Do you want to grow a lush spring and a summer garden? Well, you have come to the right place, and it all starts in February. Now in this video, I'm going to cover certain vegetables you can grow in winter that are cold hardy and frost hardy, and also certain vegetables you can grow in spring, which makes sense to grow them in February, and also certain summer vegetables that take much longer to grow that you must start in February. So let's get started. And the first one is parsley. Parsley is the only herb that can survive really cold temperatures and is hardy down to 10 degrees Fahrenheit, which is negative 12 degrees Celsius. Now, if you're zone 8 and above, you can start growing seeds of parsley indoors and keep growing them for about 2 to 3 weeks. Once the seedlings grow to about 2 to 3 inches, you can transplant them outside. For zone 7 and below, you can start growing parsley indoors, keep them on your kitchen counter, and then you can transplant your parsley outside in March or April. Number 2, onions. Now you can start onions from sets or from seeds. And the cheapest way to start onions is from seeds, and they're really easy to grow. What I do is I take a flat like this, just an open flat, and then I fill it with potting soil. And then I sprinkle my onion seed right on top, layer it one more time with a ½ inch of potting soil, and then I water it. In about 2 to 3 weeks, onions will start to grow, and then you can take these sets and transplant them right into your garden and start to grow onions. Now you can harvest your onions as green onions or let them go to maturity. I have a complete guide on how to grow lots of onions, so check that out if you're interested. Number 3, leeks. Now leeks are perfect to start growing in February. They are frost hardy and they also can withstand cold temperatures down to 20 degrees Fahrenheit, which is negative 6 degrees Celsius. And when leeks starts to grow in about a month, transplant them outside and make sure you transplant your seedlings at least 6 inches deep, and plant spacing should be 6 inches to 8 inches apart. Now the next 4 vegetables are winter and cold hardy. They can withstand pretty low temperatures. I'll let you know the minimum temperatures that they can withstand as well. However, in order to germinate and develop into seedlings, they still need optimal conditions. They need warmth around 70 degrees Fahrenheit and 21 degrees Celsius, and they need light and humidity or moisture as well. You can start these indoors in your house next to a window if you have a central heating system, or you can also start these in a greenhouse as well. You can also use heat mats under your trays, which will generate heat and increase the germination rate significantly. Now, when these seeds develop into seedlings and they're about 2 to 3 inches high, that's when you can transplant them outside in your garden. Now for zone 8 and above, if you get some light frost or a little bit of snow or no snow at all, you can transplant them outside in your garden by the end of February or in the beginning of March. However, if you're in zone 7, you must wait until your ground is free of snow and your ground is not frozen for you to transplant outside in your garden. And you might want to do that by the end of March or beginning of April. So for zone 8 and above, you can start these cold hardy winter vegetable seeds anytime in February. However, for zone 7 and below, start them towards the end of February. Now let's cover these 4 cold hardy winter vegetables. Number 4, kale. Now kale is a really good contender to start growing in February. Kale is hardy down to 20 degrees Fahrenheit, which is negative 6 degrees Celsius. Kale is frost resistant. However, kale leaves can get wilted in frost, so cover them with a plastic tote or some greenhouse plastic to enjoy delicious, tender kale leaves. Number 5, Swiss chard. A Swiss chard is hardy down to 15 degrees Fahrenheit, and Swiss chard is super easy to grow. Now you can start harvesting kale and Swiss chard leaves as soon as the plant gets about 4 sets of leaves, and you can keep harvesting older leaves and encourage new leaves to grow. Number 6, collard greens. Now collard greens are hardy down to 5 degrees Fahrenheit. They can tolerate frost and some snow as well. Number 7, peas. Now peas are my favorite to start growing in January and February, and that's because peas are really easy to grow. And they are very quick to germinate. Pea seeds germinate in about 3 days, and you can have pea seedlings in about 5 days. So if you're a beginner gardener, I highly recommend starting with peas and you will not fail. Now there are a couple of root vegetables you can also direct seed in your garden as well. So if you're in zone 8 and above, which means you don't get too much snow, you might get some light frost, you can start these seeds in February. However, for zone 7 and below, you have to wait until your ground is free of snow and your ground is not frozen. Now I make these videos as a guide to help you plan your planting all throughout the year and to encourage you to grow these vegetables every single month, and also to make sure you don't miss or forget any of these vegetables. Now the weather and climate is different all throughout the world. Even within the same zones, there are microclimates where it's more cold than other regions within the same zone. So that's why I always talk about 2 weeks before your last frost date, or plant after your last frost date, or make sure your ground is free of snow, so that this information can be utilized by everyone. So always check your region
and make sure you know your last frost date and check your forecast to see when are you going to be getting some snow or frost and plant accordingly. Now let's cover those root vegetables. Number 8, carrots.
Carrots are also frost resistant and they are hardy down to 15 degrees Fahrenheit, which is -9 degrees Celsius. You must have at least 12 inches or 1 foot of loose soil to grow carrots. So growing carrots in raised beds is preferred. In 3 months, you can start harvesting carrots.
Number 9, radish.
Radish is also really fast growing and you can start harvesting radish just 30 days after planting. Radishes can take light frost and they are hardy down to 28 degrees Fahrenheit, which is -2 degrees Celsius. Number 10, cauliflower. Now cauliflower loves cold temperature and is hardy down to 20 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 6 degrees Celsius. So be sure to start some cauliflower seeds in February. Number 11, cabbage. Now cabbage is also cold, hardy to 20 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 6 degrees Celsius. However, pests love cauliflower and cabbage, so you must spray your cauliflower and cabbage plants with neem oil almost every single week. Number 12, broccoli. Now broccoli is hardy down to 28 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 2 degrees Celsius. And broccoli is a little bit easier to grow as compared to cauliflower and cabbage. Now always start these seeds indoors first, and when the seeds develop into seedlings and your ground is free of snow, you can transplant them outside in your garden. Now in zone 8 and above, you can do this in February. However, for zone 7 and below, this will very likely be in March.
Now let's cover starting summer vegetables in February. Now there are certain summer vegetables you must start early on, at least 2 months before your last frost date. And that's because these summer vegetables take much longer to grow into a seedling. If you plant them a little late, if you plant them in March or April, you will not get vegetable all the way until the end of July or even beginning of August. So in order to get a head start, you can sow seeds of these summer vegetables indoors in your trays and keep them indoors for about 2 months or until your last frost date. Always plant your summer vegetables after the danger of frost is over. Otherwise, frost will take them out. And these summer vegetables are number 13, tomatoes, our favorite.
Every gardener likes to grow tomatoes, and it is a no-brainer to grow tomatoes in summer. However, I recommend growing heirloom tomatoes along with cherry tomatoes and yellow pear tomatoes. These tomatoes are absolutely delicious. The determinate variety of tomatoes produce tomatoes all at once, while indeterminate tomatoes keep producing all summer long.
Number 14, eggplants.
There are many different varieties of eggplants. The 2 varieties I like to grow are Japanese eggplants and black beauty eggplants. Eggplants grow throughout the summer and keep producing up until fall.
And number 15, peppers. And you can grow hot peppers and sweet peppers.
You can start your pepper seedlings in February and transplant them outside after the danger of frost is over. This way the plants can start producing peppers in May and you can enjoy harvesting peppers early on in summer.
I made a separate video on vegetable plants you should never buy from a nursery or a garden center. And in that video, I did mention tomatoes, eggplants, and peppers are an exception because they actually take much longer to germinate and start growing into seedlings. So you can always purchase them from nurseries or start them indoors in February so you can have them ready right after your last frost. Now there are certain summer vegetables such as cucumbers, squashes, such as zucchini, pumpkins, and other summer vegetables that you do not want to start early on because they grow really fast and you have to transplant outside in about a week or 2 right after they start growing into seedlings. So squashes and melons and cucumbers, hold off until March or April to start them indoors, or you can even directly seed them into your garden when the danger of frost is over.
Now for my friends in Southern Hemisphere, check out the video I have on seeds to grow in August because your seasons are opposite to us. So the seeds that we grow in August, you'll be growing those in February. Now for my friends in Northern Hemisphere that are eager to grow potatoes and sweet potatoes, especially those sweet potato slips, start growing your sweet potato slips in March and then transplant them outside when the danger of frost is over, which might be in April or in early May. Now the earliest you can start your potatoes is a week before your last frost date. So for zone 8 and 9, it might be towards the end of March or in early April. For zone 7 and below, it might be in April or in early May. Now if you want to know the optimal conditions to start your seeds, achieve the highest seed germination rate, and also grow really strong seedlings, check out the printable pamphlet I have on seed starting guide. I'll include the link in the description of this video. You can also check out this video on seed starting masterclass, in which I share complete guide on growing seeds and seedlings. And I'll see you in another video.